Everybody, welcome back to Dudes Talking Motorcycles. My name is Mitch. You can follow me on Instagram at Meech to the Beach.
And my name is Gleb, and you can follow me on Instagram at GlebLapham.
And we also have our podcast Instagram and email. If you want to follow us there or email us anything, it's at tdtmotorcycles, or emails is tdtmotorcycles@gmail.com.
We always love hearing your comments and emails and all of the good stuff in between. And that's what we're going to start off with today, is replying to a few emails that we've neglected over the past couple of months, past few episodes. But what we do want to talk about for our main topic is, after we read the emails, is with the DGR coming up, we wanted to focus a little bit about, talk a bit about mental health and mental health resources and why it's important to preserve or...
Well, just take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself. Yeah, that's a good way to preserve your mental health. And yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. And we'll preface this again, but I'll say right now, like, we're not mental health professionals. We're not experts.
Licensed.
We're not licensed in any way, shape, or form. So any advice or suggestions or anything we talk about is just personal experience and what
we're not telling you what to do.
Yeah, what we know and what we do and what worked for us. That doesn't mean it's the same for everyone. It will work for you.
Yeah.
And to find out what's right for you, I think talk to an actual mental health professional.
I think a good way of just before we get into that section would just be that if anything, if what we're discussing, we just hope it gets you to think about ways you can take care of yourself on your own. That's your business.
We're just talking about what worked for us.
Yep.
But we're not professionals. We're not mental health. We're not licensed to give any actual medical advice or mental health advice or anything like that.
Yep.
So anyways, back to the emails. So the first one we have is from Don. Don is a fellow listener, and he sent us an email about 3 weeks ago or so about him taking out his KLR for the first overnight camp out at the Baker River on the near Baker Lake in the Pacific Northwest. Talked about exploring around and getting some of the higher trailheads. And he said, before getting my dual sport, I decided to add a good pair of riding boots for the gravel and 2-track series I plan on doing. In the last month, I've dumped the bike twice going down gravel roads, and I can tell you that Garnsey Dakar GTX boots definitely protected the lower leg and ankle. So thank you for mentioning the name and stuff. So for anyone else that's looking at potentially getting motorcycle or riding boots, the Garnsey Dakar GTX boots, endorsed by Don.
Yeah. And Don, you got a nice setup too. KLR is a beast for what you're doing, and it
looks like a really, really awesome bike. And thank you so much for listening. I love the Pacific Northwest. I've been to Seattle once. I'm not gonna say where, give out any more locations than I already said on here, but I've been to Seattle once, and I would love to go and ride through the areas in like Washington and Oregon, and also British Columbia. I really loved, I've been to Vancouver once, and I absolutely love that city, and I would move there in a heartbeat. So if there's any single hot Canadians listening to this, let me know.
Gleb searching.
I'm searching, specifically if you're from Vancouver. But Don, your pictures look absolutely awesome. The roads that you rode on look great, and also your campsite looks fantastic.
Yeah, for me,
I would love to camp in that spot.
Yeah, honestly, because I love moto camping, and I would love to ride through that area too. I don't want to live there, but I would love to travel through that area.
Yeah,
and
it looks absolutely beautiful, and I really love greenery. I love forests, and just seeing all the forests in your pictures and how lush it is makes me pretty jealous. So thanks, Don. Thank you so much for sending us that email. Sorry it took so long to reply, but hopefully we hope to hear more about your future moto camping adventures or just rides in Pacific Northwest. And feel free to send us more photos because I really enjoyed looking at those.
Yeah, no, it's good. But if anything, it just made me really miss moto camping.
Yeah, I really want to. I really want to go again.
But yeah, good job, Don. Our next one is from Taylor, and he just emailed us letting us know that he listens to the podcast and that he's learning to ride his first bike still, and he has a 2021 Ninja 400. Nice red, deep red color.
Yeah, I really like the color, and honestly, that's like a great bike to start off with.
Though, yeah,
I feel like even it's not a bike that I would like outgrow too quickly either.
I don't think
like,
so.
I feel like the fun part would be is that you can rev the shit out of this thing without like going
yeeting yourself
crazy
into
fast
a wall.
or yeeting yourself into a wall. So no, I like it. I also really like that red as opposed to the usual monster green.
No, that's a
monster energy green that Kawasaki bikes have.
No, I just it's a Ducati really red.
It is. It almost looks like a Ducati red. Yeah.
Yeah, it was beautiful. So congrats, man.
Yeah, congrats. Ride safe.
Yes.
And feel free to keep us updated.
Yeah, ride safe, practice your maneuvers and everything you learned, and you'll do great. Yeah.
And then we have an email from Nicole. So Nicole emailed us a while back, and I think we commented on her email in the last episode a little bit.
Don't quote me on this, but I think she was our first listener to email us. Or what? She was definitely one of the first.
One of the earlier ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly who was the first or...
Yeah, maybe not the first, but she was one of the first. One of. And
yeah. So I'm certainly... okay, so... Yeah, so she's responding to our response to one of her previous emails, but she just wanted to update us on the bike that she picked or which one she narrowed it down to. And just to give it a little bit of an update, she was talking about wanting to ride with her dad and going like motorcycle rides with her dad, and it was kind of looking at more of like a dual sport-ish bike. One of the ones we suggested was like a Tenere, and we suggested a few other dual sports, but she is a shorter person, so she said that it was a little tricky to get on like a KLR 650 or like Tenere and stuff, and that's totally understandable.
100%.
But she did say she narrowed it down to the Kawasaki Versus X300, and that's pretty much a baby KLR bike. It's got a little Ninja 300 engine in it. I did test ride one of those before I bought my first Honda bike, and I did like it. I did like the height of it. I did like the weight of it. It was a good, well-balanced bike.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of the engine just because it needed you to rev it up really high for it to like...
Oh, yeah.
It didn't have like...
We kind of like our lowers.
Yeah, a lot of low-end torque, but I still think it would be a great bike to kind of get into it and start riding, especially if you want to hit dirt and like fire roads and stuff, because it was really light and a very narrow bike. Yeah. Which was nice. And the model I looked at was like the first year they had it, so they might have improved the low end torque by now. I don't know what year you're looking at, but if they did improve the low end torque, I think that would make that bike even better choice, especially for the kind of bike you're looking at. Some of the features that Nicole was looking for is that she wants it to be able to do highway speeds and have a little bit, and this bike will be able to do that, but also has a much lighter and more manageable weight than the KLR.
Especially for a new rider.
Yeah, especially as a new rider. And she also mentioned that her dad is going to get a KLR at the same time, so they can have kind of a similar bike and ride similar kind of roads. Which,
I like her wording for it. It's a junior senior situation. I love that.
So that's pretty awesome. And Nicole, thank you so much for the update. Sorry it took us so long to get back to you, but we're happy to hear that you got a Versus. I think feel free to send us some pictures later on once you hit some roads, because we'd love to see your bike.
Yeah, she mentioned here too, she's going to be traveling to spread family members' ashes. They're talking about doing that, and I think that would be a great experience for...
I think that's a fantastic goal
for a father-daughter situation thing. That's awesome.
So,
congrats.
Congrats on your bike. Good luck on your trip and on you and your dad's journey. And keep us posted. Let us know how it goes.
Yeah.
And then we also have replied to one of our YouTube comments that we kind of wanted to point out. It was on the was it the previous episode that we did?
I think it was our most the Harley.
The Harleys.
Yeah.
The Harley and the Multistrada. If you haven't listened to that, go check out the last episode. But this was from a comment from one of our listeners on YouTube. But basically it sums down to, to ride a Harley and to understand the Harley, you basically have to be riding a Harley and to ride a Harley. And one of the funny lines that he says, like, the Harley experience is just to be accepted by other Harley riders unless you ride a Sportster, which is not as cool as other Harleys apparently. But he talks about he has a road glide, but he would happily trade that for a dual sport, a heavier dual sport bike. But I just thought it was a really funny comment, and I can kind of see that it's definitely kind of like its own little
well, I was thinking like
culture.
As like a outsider looking in, like that's kind of the vibe I get.
Yeah. but it's also like one of those things where I feel like
it depends.
A lot of motorcycle categories have their own like little subculture. Like adventure riders kind of like have their own stereotypes.
Yeah.
Sport bike riders have their own stereotypes. Harley riders have their own stereotypes.
Well, we are the stereotype adventure rider. Like we ride to coffee shops more than anything. So.
Definitely. Yeah. So. That is true.
Yeah. We're just not dentists. That's the only way we beat the stereotype.
We just don't have a GS.
Yeah,
that's the big difference.
Yeah.
But anyways, those are.
And I just one more shout out to Steve. He mentioned our volume levels not being so great for him, and we know that can be kind of difficult and vary based on what you're listening through. But we did see that. We took that into account. And
we try to up them in our last episode. So Steve, if you can give us an update to see how previous episode sounded, we'd love to know. And that goes for anyone. If you have like any more like technical feedback, whether it's
critical criticism or constructive
criticism, like whether it's not necessarily like topics and fact checks, please feel free to fact check us. Like, I'm grateful when people do it.
Yeah.
But on the technical side, if we're ever like too quiet or if things sound weird or off, feel free to let us know, because we do listen to these episodes after we publish them, but what sounds normal to our ears might not sound the same to someone else.
Yeah.
So
we'll definitely listen to you guys, is what we're saying.
Yeah. Feel free to send us your feedback and all the other good stuff at tdtmotorcycles@gmail.com.
Yep.
And before we jump into our main topic, with summer coming up, feel free to use our affiliate link down in the description below if you're buying if you're updating or buying some new motorcycle gear. We have the Revzilla affiliate link. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it does give us a little bit of a kickback.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're shopping for gear, use the link, help out the podcast, help yourself with some new gear. It's lots of fun stuff out there.
Yeah, honestly though.
You bought any new gear this year? Any plans to?
Well, yeah, I finally got like a proper luggage system.
Oh yeah. That's where you got it from.
From our friend chat. I got the Moscow Moto, the 50-liter duffel Alpine. Yeah,
yep.
That's it.
And then you also got some Tusk.
I got a killer deal on a set of used Tusk saddlebags.
Yeah, you bought locally here, right?
Yeah, from someone selling locally, and good guy. He's an adventure dual sport rider.
Perfect. Now you got a proper setup. That's pretty
sweet. So the only thing is, it's cheaper than buying new, obviously. But now I just have to find a good setup for my bike with that high exhaust and everything.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point.
But that's it. That's not going to be hard.
I haven't bought anything new yet. I'm currently in the process of trying to figure out a top box situation for my bike, because originally I wanted to buy a Triumph brand of the top box, but now I pivoted to trying to put on a Pelican case on the back, because I feel like that would just work better for what I want to work, what I want to do with it.
Money,
save me money, and also they're a bit lighter than the top box, because I don't need the full size of the top box. And also I might be buying a new helmet. I'm kind of thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I haven't decided on whether I'm actually going to do it or not, but my helmet is about 5 years old now, and Climb came out with their new Alpha X1 recently, which I'm very curious about, and I would like to try that on and see how I like it.
I'm trying to remember. Well, we can get to that after just a ride. Okay. There's a Climb store nearby-ish. If we do a ride out into the mountains, there's a Climb store here.
There's no Climb store here. I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure there is.
I've just seen it at dealers.
No, we can talk.
Maybe.
We can figure it out.
Maybe. I don't know. I could be wrong. But anyways, so on to our main topic. And like I said, we wanted to talk about mental health. And the reason we decided to do this topic is because we have the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride coming up next, this coming Sunday when this episode airs. It'll be the following Sunday. So May 18th, basically a worldwide event that we've talked about pretty much every year around.
We
this
talked
time
about the
on
history
podcast.
of it or something.
We talked about the history of it. We talked about like what it's for. The biggest thing is it's to promote men's mental health and prostate cancer research. And we'll leave a link down in the description below if you want to donate to any of the riders or just to the event as a whole to help raise money and awareness for those two things. And and even though it is like men's mental health, we're not going to be talking just about men's mental health, just mental health in general. And it is a really fun event. It is really cool to go out and see the different bikes and the different outfits that people are wearing and different bikes that people are riding, and just to catch up, maybe make some new friends, or just check out the local motorcycle community. Mm-hmm. You don't have to. I mean, no one's forcing you to dress up. No one's forcing you to ride like a classic looking bike and stuff. It's all about
like
just
that.
Participating.
That's the theme. But like get out and meet some people if you're struggling. If and like it is more about mental health for men as like a group of people who are kind of overlooked in the mental health department still worldwide, but it is like for everyone, like, and it should get everyone to consider their own mental health and everything. So
it is a really fun event. I do enjoy participating in it, and I just love seeing all the bikes,
honestly,
all the cool stuff you see from
like for example, from the ride here in Salt Lake, there's a guy who brings like a really cool looking Norton in. Yeah. Sometimes there's like some old ones too.
I've seen a couple of Urals with side parts.
Yep.
Those are pretty cool, and just all sorts of different bikes, and it's really cool to see. But in honor of that, that's why we wanted to talk about mental health. And once again, like I said at the beginning of the episode, we're not mental health professionals. We are not licensed nor certified nor none of those things to give you like specific advice on.
We're not your psychiatrist or your therapist.
Yeah, we're not your psychiatrist and your therapist. We're not mental health professionals. So take anything we say with like a grain of salt. Mm-hmm. And I mean, we're not really throwing anything like factual or any like.
This is anecdotal.
Like that. This is all anecdotal, is personal experience and personal things that personally helped us out. So the idea with this is to not necessarily give you like full-on advice on what to do, but to kind of get you thinking about if you do need help with mental health, or you do need to talk to someone, to kind of get you to take the first step and to kind of just give it more thought to see if there's something that you need to talk about with someone, like a mental health professional. So I wanted to start off with a few resources that, and these pertain to the U.S. since we're a U.S.-based podcast. And so one of them is the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline, which is 98, and the phone number for that is 988, and that's in the U.S. and Canada. There's also the Disaster Distress Helpline. So if you experienced a disaster of some kind, like flood, fire, any other kind of things,
that's probably going to affect your mental health.
Yeah, definitely. 1-800-985-5990. And then also just a general national helpline. So if you need to talk to someone, if you need help to direct yourself to some mental health resources, that is 1-800-662-4357.
Yep.
You can also go to FindTreatent.gov for resources near you or in your area. And then I also have a few websites about helping find like a therapist or a psychiatrist or a mental health professional in your area. And that is, one of them is locator.apa.org, which is a national psychiatrist or psychology. Wow, I'm going to restart. Sorry. American Psychology Association or Psychologist Association. And then the other one is findapsychologist.org and also psychologytoday.com.
And I would add to that too, like if you're going to, if you've made the personal decision to seek out like therapy or a psychologist, psychiatrist, which, if you're going to involve your insurance, make sure it's obviously in your network. Because in America, getting your insurance to do anything is a literal fight. So.
Yeah. Make sure they're in your network. I mean, it can save significant amount of money. There's also ways to kind of navigate ones that are out of network. If there's ones that are like unavailable to personally help you, there's ways to get like reimbursed. I've known people that have done that.
Well, and I just remembered, I've found like for stuff I'm going through, like I've found like support groups on Reddit. I found through the Meetup app, they have like support groups for anything. You can search for something that if you need to find like a group of that have people who have been through something similar. You can also find like support groups. Yeah,
I find Reddit to be like a pretty useful resource when it comes to some things like that. Don't take any advice from Reddit though. Just ask for if you need help finding something. It's a good place. Don't get actual advice.
No.
People are all over the place.
For me, it was like for my thing, it was it was just helpful to like I could like read through somebody's experiences that they decided to post themselves, and it's like that makes a lot of sense. I relate to that, and then I can take that in myself and figure out what I need to do, but I'm not taking anyone's advice.
Exactly. And then for like I said, those are US based numbers, and those are like the federal or the more nationwide. If you can also check your local state, county, province, city resources, or your equivalent localized area in your country. And check to see what resources are available in your country, because I'm assuming most of them at least have something, at least most developed ones. But take the step. Don't linger on it. If you need help, if you need to talk to someone, it's literally like taking that first step is probably like the biggest thing. And it's totally normal and totally okay to go talk to someone, go talk to a therapist or a psychologist or a psychiatrist,
or hell, even like if you have a group of friends, or if in some like fields of work too, like first responder work, they have teams and stuff. So like they can take things on an unofficial approach to help people.
There's a lot of resources. If you are a university student, or if you're work at a university, a lot of universities have free counselors available for you to talk to. Your job, your workplace might provide free counseling, or they have some
employee assistance program.
Employee assistance programs, or they might have ways to refer you to a licensed mental health professional. Other things you can do is, like I said, like city or county offices, they might have resources as well. If you're in US, you can check with your insurance. They usually have lists of doctors and stuff that are generally, or at least supposed to be in your network. And then if you're in another country, check with your local
however it works for you guys.
However it works with you guys, your local health resources, to see if they have like a list of available psychiatrists. There's also some certain websites like BetterHelp that I always hear about, which I heard mixed things about and stuff. But I'm personally more of a fan of talking to someone in person versus over like a video call or the phone. Just feels it helps me express my stuff more. And it was really weird. Like I do have a therapist that I go see every so often, and it was very weird. It felt very weird, like starting off with that. Because one of the first questions you're asked is like, why are you in therapy? And it makes you wonder, like, why am I here? Like, is it because I was feeling anxious? I was feeling sad? I'm not going to go into details of why I went, but I have other friends that are also like in therapy or have been in therapy, and it's kind of like something that got me to consider it. And I'm very glad I took the step to find a therapist.
Right.
And she's been super, super helpful. To kind of work through just different decisions, different struggles, different like anxieties and problems and things like that. I feel like I would consider myself a fairly stable person, but there's, even if you do consider yourself that, there's still plenty. Stable? That's true, but there's still plenty of things that I think it's super helpful to talk to someone who is like an outside party. Someone that's not a friend, someone that's not a parent, someone that's whole job is to basically like listen to you and offer advice, or at least kind of nudge you in the right direction. And even when I don't have anything to really like that I'm like really struggling with, or quote unquote like struggling with, I found it just to be super helpful to kind of work through
whatever, right?
through like other issues and stuff like that. Like, why do I feel like this when this person does that, or why do I feel this way when this happens or this other thing happens,
right.
And kind of like dig deeper into your into your brain to kind of work your way through whatever's like causing you issues,
right?
And I think one of the biggest things that I always want to let people know is that it's a slow process. It's not like you go see a therapist once and you're cured or you feel better. It is a process that's continuously ongoing.
I would add to that too, that it's not only a process, but it's not a track or like an obstacle course, because you continually have to take care of yourself, just like any other health aspect. If you want to be physically fit, you have to continuously take care of yourself.
And same with your mental health.
So like whether that's physical or even like, it's like, I just want to eat better. You have to continuously eat better.
And it's not even like like you said, it's not an obstacle course. It's not something that's like, I made it past this. It's behind me. I'm good. I'm good. Stuff in the past always comes around full circle or creeps up in the future. So it's not something that it's like one and done.
Right. And I think I kind of fell into that. Like I didn't have that thought process of like, I'm good now. You know? It was just, for me, like therapy ended, like that was covered and everything. It's like, okay, I'll take a break and then I'll go find another one. That was 3 years ago, but, so I'm looking again. And I do feel like I kind of just stopped doing the work and was just kind of like, especially for the DGR stuff, I think I was just more like advocating for it.
Yeah.
And I'd listen to friends when if they ever called me up and, and talk, I'm happy to do that. But for myself, I think I just kind of started doing the same routine and not actually doing the work, because you do have to work like,
you do have to work on like, at least I'll give my own example from like what I learned in therapy. So different like things I brought up to my therapist, different issues or different like just different thoughts and stuff.
Right.
A lot of them weren't like anything that's like really detrimental. It's not like I don't consider myself like depressed, anxious maybe once in a while here and there.
Yeah.
But not like constantly wired up. But I would bring up like various issues, whether it's like when it comes to like dating or just kind of like random thoughts that like pop into my head and different things like that. And she's been really great at kind of like helping me slowly work through those issues and to kind of help me understand why I might be feeling that way, whether it's something related to past, whether it's something that's related to like something currently happening, whether it's like just it's kind of hard to explain,
right?
But I'm having a hard time like articulating it fully and
without oversharing,
without oversharing too much, but just kind of working through like different thoughts and things like that, and helping me figure out like why am I feeling the way that I am in this certain situation. Right.
Yeah, exactly. And like for me, like what's working for me, like while I'm out of therapy, is like I'm remembering like the stuff I did learn previously. Yep. And it's one thing that helps me a lot is that I've basically just remembered in recent weeks is if I'm feeling like a certain way, like if I'm feeling bad or whatever, just sit in it. Just recognize what it is and just sit in it. Just like let it be. And you might experience some weird emotions, but hey, just write it. Obviously take care of yourself, make sure you're safe and all that. But for me, that's what's helped is like, just being able to like, okay, having a bad memory or whichever, just sit in it.
Yeah. No, like one of the big things,
or in reframing, sorry, that was so you sit in it and then reframing.
Yep. That was one of the things I've learned as well, where you kind of take a situation, you kind of like, not necessarily make it into a positive thing, but to kind of try to think of it in a different way, like reframe it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of it like an example that it's not personally related to me, but just like a general one where it's like, oh, this is a bad feeling. Then you kind of reframe by thinking like, why is this feeling bad, or why am I feeling this bad feeling in this moment, and how can it turn that bad feeling into like less bad feeling?
Right. Yeah.
Like I don't think the bad feeling goes away. It's more of like, what am I going to do to kind of like minimize the impact of that bad feeling? The biggest thing I think is like, don't bottle it up. No, that's like the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, don't bottle it. But also like, don't. I think I want to make a difference. Like, I'm not like necessarily you can be like not necessarily bottling anything, but if you're ignoring it.
Yeah.
Like you're not intentionally like just saying, oh, I'm gonna swallow that deep down.
Yep.
There's a pain in my stomach. That means it's working. But
exactly.
I'm not doing anything like that.
Yeah.
But if you're just like if you're not prioritizing yourself, be like, man, I'm feeling exhausted, like, or stressed or whichever way you're going.
Yeah. And I think like everyone has their own different way of dealing with stuff. Mm-hmm. Biggest thing is like, don't make a bad habit out of dealing with stuff like things like drinking or smoking or drugs and alcohol. Like all of those things are big things that bad events can trigger. And
it's easy for you to become for those to become dependents, it seems.
Yeah.
Or
I've known people in my life who struggle with like alcoholism and stuff like that. Anything that bad happen, like if they just have a rough day or something like that, it's like the first thing they go to. And I've seen how it can affect people and the kind of person it makes them. And it's terrifying. It's scary. Mm-hmm. It's scary to see that, especially if you're like a kid or younger and seeing that, you're like, what is going on? And like I made it my own personal goal is to like never drink alcohol just to feel better when I'm like upset.
To escape.
Yeah, escape if I'm having something bad happening. The only times I've been like drunk in my entire life is
Mexico.
Is when I'm like hanging out with friends and having a fun time.
Yeah.
It was like Mexico or like Halloween parties, New Year's parties and things like that.
Yeah.
Or just like hanging out playing video games with friends and I'll have like an extra shot of whiskey or something just to get that little buzz. But never when I was like, oh, I'm having a really bad day, I'm gonna get plastered, drunk, because like I said, and it's my personal decision. I'm not gonna judge anyone for.
We all got our vices.
Yeah, we all got our vices, and
there's
things like that.
That doesn't minimize your worth or value.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, it absolutely does not. But it is something that can be helped and can be worked through to replace a bad habit with a good habit, like exercising or a new hobby or something like that.
Yeah, like from my experience, I never was like a dependent on alcohol or anything like that, but like I definitely didn't have like the best habits with it. And what I found for myself, and again, like it doesn't have to be like I'm an addict, I'm an alcoholic. It's for me, I found out is like the trick for me is I just don't keep alcohol in the house because I'm a snacky person.
Yeah, me too.
And alcohol to me is it's a snack. It's a comfort food kind of, and like, so if it's in the house, like I'm going to consume it. And so I just don't keep snacks or alcohol or like anything in the house.
Yeah.
Like if I want it, I'll go out and get it.
Yep. And it's different for everyone else to kind of like help control like bad habits. But then, and I also want to like bring up that, not everybody has access to the same amount of resources and stuff like that. I feel pretty privileged that I have like...
Oh, we're extremely privileged.
Like I have a good job with a good insurance and I've been able to find and afford a therapist that I've been with for the past like 4 years or so that I really like. Not everyone has that privilege. So it is definitely like harder for some people to get it versus others.
Well, yeah, dependent on like your income, your
insurance,
your background, like whether that's race, religion, whichever, gender is affected by that. And
when it comes to like therapists, there's also like a lot of therapists that deal with different specific topics, whether it's like, like marriage counselors, it's for you and your significant other, or if it's like addiction counselors or just different topics that they specialize in.
They have it for everything. They have like, I've noticed like in ones I've looked around in my area or in my network is they have ones like specifically for like PTSD or ADHD, autism, everything. They list what they specialize in.
Yeah.
And so that can be very helpful too.
Yeah, it can be very helpful to look at that. Just make sure they're like a licensed professional and not just some random bloke off the street.
Right. Yeah. Don't start reading Andrew Tate books. Yeah. I don't even think he knows what a book is, but don't follow him.
And then like the other things, like we were talking about, like bad habits, and then good habits, things that I found help me a lot is I got into running last year, so I've been doing that, and I try to like sign up for even like short 5K races like here and there to kind of help me stay motivated. I'm
right.
like, I have this coming up. I want to do, like, I have on this this weekend at the time of the recording in a couple of days, and I'm like, well, I want to do better on this one than I did on the one last year, so I want to be trying to go a little quicker, and it gives me an incentive to do it.
Yeah.
Motorcycle rides.
Motorcycle rides are a big one.
Yeah, a big one. Kind of good way to clear your head, and well, not necessarily clear your head, but just kind of,
if you're in the right headspace to ride safely.
Yeah. Don't ride if you're in not the right headspace.
Yeah.
Definitely don't do that. But for me, like with motorcycling, also, like, you know, we became really good friends through that. We have plenty of other.
That's like the only reason we're friends. Probably. I don't think we would have
we probably wouldn't have like started talking again after working together if it wasn't for motorcycles.
Right. Well, we never would have met Emerson. Nope. We never would have met the group that the guys we know.
Yeah. And it's great to have like that support group around you, and support group of friends and stuff like that too, to either talk to or just, you know, hang out with. So, you know, you can kind of bounce the same ideas that we're talking about now off one another.
Yeah, and like again, I don't want to overshare at all, but like from this is just what's helped me. Again, don't do this because I'm telling you this is what I do.
Yeah.
But I got a unique experience with it because like around the time I was starting to like really get into the weeds in therapy.
Yeah.
Back when I was in first responder work, I also took the course to be on it's called the crisis intervention team. And it's like for mental health response stuff. And so it was interesting is that I learning how to like, you know, if someone's like spiraling or having an episode, not that it's going to work, but it's just like a tool to add. And my therapist taught it to me, and I took this course. I'm like, aha. But you can kind of like catch yourself, pull yourself out of a spiral a little bit. It takes practice. It doesn't always work. More often than not, it won't. But it can help is, just catching yourself. Like I was, dealing with someone and, and I'm not going to get into it, but they were, they just went, it's like, oh, I'm just like the dumbest idiot in the world, and like based on like these, like catch yourself moments, I was able to go back. It's like, are you? It's like, you reported this, like, we're taking care of it. Like it's going to be it's going to suck. You're in a rough spot, but like you did something to help yourself.
Yeah. And
that was able to help this person. We were able to like calm the situation down.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah.
It's great. It is like a very tricky thing to kind of.
Yeah.
I think it's one that's very hard to figure out, like yourself.
Yeah.
And kind of work through stuff there. And if you think you have mental health issues and stuff like that, there's nothing wrong with you. Like it's perfectly normal to have a lot of those thoughts and feelings and things like that. But that's why I'm a big advocate for therapy, is because that's what helped me work through a lot of those. Yeah. And kind of become a better version of yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Watch Ted Lasso.
Watch Ted Lasso. It's a good one. That's a good safe bet to like, if you're like mental health, what is it? I think that'd be a good like objective way to view it. Kind of, but
it's through Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
I 100% agree.
That or shrinking.
Shrinking, I feel like hits a little heavier.
Yeah, you got to be. That's the other thing we probably should have mentioned too. Is like this might be a little heavy hitting and or close to. Yeah. So, but
yeah, it's and even though I'm not even the biggest fan of like calling it like a struggle, because I feel like struggle is just like implies a very difficult, and that is difficult. It's not always easy and stuff like that, and sometimes it can be a struggle, but it's
more it's an uphill walk.
It's an uphill walk. Yeah. It's an uphill walk, uphill hike, sometimes even an uphill run where you're
sometimes
trying to catch your breath.
Sometimes it's a crawl. Sometimes it just fucking sucks.
Yep. But I feel like as long as you're slowly making your way up, slowly like working on ways to improve yourself, whether it's through therapy, through exercise, like whatever it is that you decide that, helps you.
Yeah.
It is an uphill battle.
Yep.
Essentially. But I also want to say that, like, if you do think that you need like medication once again, I'm not going to say like
for you and your doctor.
Yep. That's for you and your doctor and stuff like that. But I just want to say, like, there's nothing wrong with needing it or with wanting to at least like try it and things like that. It doesn't make you any like less of a capable person if you need some help with things like anxiety or depression or any other mental health issues, and you feel like you need external like medical help.
Yeah, and that can be, again, that's for you and your doctor. And like, even in my experience with, I take medications and stuff, and like for now, like right now I'm trying out different meds for ADHD, and I don't mind sharing that, but it's tricky because like, you try one medication, and for me, I found out it's like that, I don't like it. Yeah. I don't like what it does. Yep. So I stopped. I need to go back.
I haven't like taken any like anti-anxiety or antidepressant medication before, but I know people that have. Yeah. And from what I hear, it's different for everyone. Mm-hmm. One medication is not going to work for another person. Yeah. And I feel like it's kind of the same thing with therapy. Like one exercise or one it's almost method is not going to work on. It's
almost like gambling.
You're kind of just feeling the waters. And one of the big things I wanted to talk about this earlier, but it slipped my mind until now, is when I mentioned like the mental health professional or therapist resources earlier, you don't have to stick to the first therapist you find. If you're feeling like you're not clicking after like 1 or 2 sessions, maybe 3, depending if like you're feeling the waters, I promise you no therapist is going to be upset for you to moving on.
It's their job.
Yeah. Moving on to a different therapist or like a more specialized one, or like or like a different gender even and stuff like that, because different people have different experiences that they might be able to help you with. Mm-hmm. And don't feel bad if you're like, oh, I found the therapist, but I don't know if I really like them, but I don't want to like drop them right away. Do it. They won't be upset. They totally understand. I'm pretty sure it happens all the time.
Right. Yeah.
And I got lucky because I really liked mine from the get-go, but it's not like, that's not everyone's experience. Right. And it can be tricky to find a therapist that works for you. But I think it's one of those things that you should keep trying and not just give up like right after one session. And if you do find one that you like and you feel like you haven't made much progress, keep going. Yep. Like it's keep going. And one of the big things I want to say is like, don't be afraid to share. Don't hold back like thoughts or feelings. Don't lie to your therapist. Don't like beat around the bush because they're there to help you. Yeah. And they can't help you if you're not being honest with yourself. Yeah. Well, first. Right.
And like, I just want to bring it back to the DGR for that too, is like, finding a community, like-minded community is like the DGR is a good place to find that. Yeah. If you're into motorcycling and you want, or, and mental health is a priority for you. Yep. We met some great people, great friends,
fantastic people.
Yeah.
And
they all kind of get it. It's like not everyone we've met there is the same. We're not going to click with everyone. Yeah. But people that we have, got on with, they get it.
They understand. And I think finding your people and finding your community is like one of the like very important things, whether it's a big community or just like a few close friends. Yep. Like I feel like, humans are a communal creature. Like we live in cities, we live in communities and things like that. And it's good to have that support system around you. And I realize that it's not as easy for everyone to find people to click with. Yeah. But I promise you, there are people out there that you will click with. But you do have to do the little bit of legwork to find them, whether it's through motorcycling or whether it's through other hobbies like snowboarding, skiing, running, animal, like caring for animals at the animal shelter. I don't know, like things like that. And there's lots of different ways to kind of meet new people or find places where you can meet people. But also, I want to say, like, don't try to rush it.
Right.
Don't try to rush it. Baby steps.
It's not a race.
Small little iterations, small little improvements add up over time.
It's not a race. It's not a time trial.
Yep.
If you what's the word? I guess regress. Like if you're making progress and you fall back,
that's okay.
That's part of it.
That's okay. It happens.
Yeah.
Sometimes we feel great. Other days we feel terrible. Sometimes there's a reason for why we feel terrible. Other times you just simply feel like shit on the day and you don't want to do anything.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you're like lizard part of your brain is just like, I need food, I need sleep, I'm sad, or I feel threatened. Is just sometimes that just takes over and hijacks you.
Yep. And one other thing that I want to bring up is don't forget to also take days and time for yourself.
Yep.
I like to do every once in a while what I call a glove day. And that's basically where if I let my friends know, like, I'm just doing a glove day today, it basically means that I'm not making any plans with anyone, whether friends or family. I'm just doing what I want on that day, whether it's just me sitting at home and like playing games all day and not doing anything else. Most of the time I notice like, I'll do that in the morning, watch TV, and then I'll get a little bored. Then I'll go do like a hike, or maybe take my bike out just on a little quick solo ride, or grab a coffee or something like that. Come back, continue doing nothing, or do a little hike and just do something that I want to do without having the expectation of like having someone else involved in it. And I found for me that kind of helps out a lot to do every once in a while, especially if I'm having a week or something like that where I feel like overwhelmed with like plans and work and like so many other things battering you back and forth. So that's what I found helpful for me. So if that helps anybody else, like that's my advice, not advice.
Yeah.
Don't forget to take time for yourself, and also like
that was Gleb sharing.
Yeah.
So it works for him. So.
Yep. Don't forget to essentially it's just don't forget to take time for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, if you're listening to this podcast, motorcycles were probably something you enjoy. So,
but also don't push people away either.
Yep. Well, I was going to say actually kind of related to that too is, when if you find things that are working for you and help you out too, is like you'll quickly find the people that are like, that you're around that, if you say like, I just need like a day to myself, or it's like, no, I'm not feeling it,
Yeah.
If the people you're going to have people that are like going to be more understanding of that. It's like, oh, okay. They spoke up. They, but I was just going to bring it back into, you can find people and stuff, but also like,
not everyone gets
not everyone's on your side.
Yeah.
So not everyone is like aligned with your goals.
Yeah. And don't let anyone,
and that doesn't villainize them. That's their own issue, but,
and don't let anyone make you feel bad for like taking a day to yourself or just doing what you want to do without like expectations of like plans and things like that.
Yep.
If like your close friends are mad at you about that, then maybe they're not the right people,
or maybe they're dealing with something,
or maybe they're dealing with something and they're just using you as like,
again, like I think the big thing is it's tricky, especially like for me, I'm kind of spiteful and vindictive by nature. But it is like, I really have to learn is like not to villainize, because they might be going through something.
They might have something else going on. Maybe
like it doesn't affect the fact that I'm going to take care of myself and, and my life. But at the same time, it's like, okay, like let's just back off a bit. Yeah.
And like, if I do like a glove day or something like that, and someone says like, oh, boo, that's lame. It's like, okay,
cool. Yeah. Whatever.
I'll just keep doing it. Cause that's what what I had planned. Like, and usually like I'll do that once every couple, like 4 to 6 weeks. And then I'm like, all right, cool. I feel much more relaxed now. Sometimes it takes a little longer, but sometimes I feel pretty good.
Yeah. And then, I won't put that in. So never mind that part, but yeah.
Do you have any like similar kind of advice or things that have worked for you to kind of when you're either overwhelmed or kind of in a slump that kind of helps you,
like I said, the
rejuvenate like a little bit, kind of helps you like
motorcycling is a big one for me. Like, I have what's it called? I think I have the SAD, the seasonal
depression.
Whichever depression. 'Cause I hate winter. I hate the cold. I hate going so long without the sun.
Yeah.
Or feeling like warmth, But so I get kind of that way. And like, while video games, like in the summer, I'll be busy or something. It's like, I just need a day. I'm going to just chill and play games or watch a movie or something, but like in winter, like that's like my only outlet. And it's just, and that gets old quick.
Yeah.
So I have to find ways to deal with that.
Yeah. Going back to our winter episode, help Mitch find a winter hobby that doesn't involve snow or cold. No,
I'm looking for eventually. I'm hoping to get out of Utah and go somewhere where there's no snow.
Until then,
yeah, that's a work in progress. But it's again, it's one of those things that you can't. Actually, that's a good. That's how I want to put that. It is like doing the work is like if you're wanting to move out somewhere, like if you want to move internationally or even out of state, is. It's like, okay, it's like, oh, I can't wait to move out. I can't wait to move out. It's like, oh, I can't wait. Or, I want to feel good. I want to feel better.
Yeah.
Okay. What have I done the last 2 years that's, done the work? What have I done to do the work?
You gotta do the work.
Yep. And I think it is easy to fall out of that. Like
it's
because you have your life, you have your external life obligations. You got work, you got family, you got friends and bills. And it's easy to fall.
It's easy to be lazy, and
I wouldn't even call it. It's not lazy. It's survival. It is easy to just have to like get into survival, especially if you're not making a lot of money or you're in a crappy situation,
Yeah.
And especially when you're at that point, I think when you hit those survival moments, like that's when therapy or like reaching out, or just sitting in what you're feeling, and if it gets bad, you got to call someone.
Yeah.
You don't have to vent or spill anything. Even just calling like a friend that you trust. Just talking to them about,
Yeah. Can be a huge help.
Well, I've had friends do that. They call and it's like, hey, I just need someone to talk to. I was like, oh, what's up? It's like, oh, I don't really want to get into it. It's like, oh, what are you up to?
Yeah.
Yeah. And, and yeah.
Or sometimes you just need to vent.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I like to ask is if a friend is like coming up to me and they're like, if they're like upset or something like that, I kind of ask like, do you just need someone to listen just so you can vent, or do you need like advice back?
Yeah.
Because not everyone always wants advice. They just want to like let this frustration out into the world and not necessarily like, they know how to fix it, or they have an idea what they need to do to fix it. They just need to like yell it towards someone that's just going to be like sitting there and nodding and saying, yeah, that really sucks.
Yeah. Well, and like, and it is easy to get, I think it is easy to get kind of stuck too.
Oh, 100%.
Or like have that sense of like you're trapped in a corner.
Yeah.
Or like you've been doing things and stuff falls apart, and you're just like, I'm trapped.
For me, like, I'll share an example is, like I'm a pretty creative person. Like I do photography, I do video stuff, but I found myself like more frequently getting into like creative slumps where I don't really want to do any of those things.
Yeah.
It doesn't help that I also do them for work. So like working on my own personal stuff sometimes feels like another job. So it's a little harder to get my like brain to want to do it.
Yeah.
But also there's times of the year where I'm like, just have zero like creative ideas or wants. I'm like, I don't really feel like taking pictures. I don't really feel like doing X or Y because it seems like a lot of work or whatever reason or another. And it's just like a slump. And it takes me a good bit to kind of try and work my way out of that.
Right.
And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the slump is really quick. Other times it lasts for a long time.
Well, and for me, what I've been especially now it's getting warmer, I'm getting better at this of like just catching like when I'm like, hey, I'm starting to feel away or down, you know? And so like before that becomes an issue, I'll get on my bike because it is like a meditative, responsive activity. Yeah. And I enjoy it, so if I can get ahead of it, the bike helps, like minimize the emotional part of it. Yeah. And then that makes it easier. But again, like I mentioned in a few episodes ago, like I rode in and I was pissed. I rode my bike when I was pissed off.
Yeah.
Not a good idea.
Nope, not a good
Blasting
idea.
metal music and just, that was a really dumb thing. But
Make mistakes, you're not paying as much attention.
Yep. But what I found to help with that is instead of riding too, is like, use what you got. Like, if you got a pet too,
yeah,
I'll pick up my cat and she's awesome, or play with her because that'll distract me. That'll get me out of that spiral.
Yeah.
So,
and also the other thing you mentioned, like meditative and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I do want to say like yoga and like practicing mindfulness as something that I found like helps me a lot.
Yep.
Just focusing on the breath, just your breath and kind of like clearing your thoughts, or just, or in yoga, just on the motion and things like that. Personally, for me, it helped a lot to kind of like clear my head and things like that. So, it's also good for your joints, but that's a different thing. Yeah. Or just stretching is good for you in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's kind of
I mean, again, just once again tying it back to the DGR. Like if you're interested, definitely go to the website gentleman'sride.com and find a ride near you. If there's not one and you're feeling ambitious and up to it, you could host a ride.
Yeah.
Or even if you don't want to, just ride on that day.
Right on that day.
Go treat yourself a little.
Yeah, go to a coffee shop. Maybe you'll find some other riders there and make your own ride.
Yeah.
And
but ride safe.
Ride safe. Watch out for traffic.
Yeah.
Don't ride angry.
Yeah. Yeah. And if that's anything else, I just have like a quick thing to end on, but
go for it.
I would just like caution again, like, we're not mental health professionals.
Yeah.
And for us, we're also not trying to sell you anything. Nope. And I hate to admit it, I've been down this road, is that there's, people are monetizing mental health.
Yeah.
And they're selling you bullshit to, and it may or may not be helpful to you.
Yeah.
So just be cautious of like, if they're asking you to like make sacrifices or like toward yourself, or, so just be careful. I would seriously just recommend, just find a mental health professional if you're needing it.
Yep.
Or people that are close to you that, care about you. You matter.
You matter. Yep.
Yeah.
You matter. Take care of yourself. Take care of your mental health and ride safe.
Yeah.
That's the message.
Yeah. And if you want to, we'll put our DGR links in if you want to make a donation, or you can set up your own and donate to yourself if you can.
I might just put in like just a generic donation link.
Oh yeah, we could even just
rider.
Yeah, actually that's a good idea. Yeah. We could just put in the general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just do that. And also like if you are comfortable sharing, and we won't share this on a future episode or anything like that. Yeah. But if you want to send us emails with like what has helped you with your like mental health and makes you feel better and things like that, feel free to share that with us.
Don't overshare, please.
You don't need to overshare.
We're not your therapists, no parasocial stuff.
Yeah. But just, if you have any like techniques or things that helped you, it's kind of like mindfulness, yoga, things like that. Feel free to share with us. We won't share them on the podcast, but I'm just curious to kind of know.
Yeah. So
cool. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening, and hopefully it's a good episode for you. It's a little like not quite motorcycle related, but still ties into it a little bit.
But we care about the DGR, and we
care about mental health.
Yeah.
So hopefully you still found it good, and hopefully you took something away from this. So anyways, like we said, take care of yourself, take care of your mental health, and ride safe.
Yeah. See ya.